game of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Players Own YouTube channel. We truly were gifted to the game of the season last night in the Champions League. 3-3 between Football Club Barcelona and Inter Milan in a classic matchup of two different polar opposite styles of football. I came into the game, previewing the game, saying that we're going to expect one very robust, aggressive defensive unit versus an ultra-attacking, free-flowing side in Barcelona. And it did eventuate to be that type of game, but it was a great matchup. I think coming into the game, the expectation for Inter Milan were low. 3 losses in the bounce, knocked out by Milan in the Coppa Italia. A big loss on the weekend to Roma. Confidence at rock bottom. You know, you think, is this finally Inter running out of legs? Is this Inter side finally showing its weaknesses? It's fatiguing. Is it just hit the wrong point of form at the wrong part of the season? But no, they came out and they performed well. They battled hard. They won their duels. And all in all, produced one of the great Champions League performances away from home in Barcelona against one of the best teams, if not the best team this season. But you could argue Inter Milan have been one of the best teams this season as well. It's a different style of football, but it gets very effective results. And in Simeone Inzaghi's side, boy, they battled well. Barcelona were fantastic. Lamine Yamal, we'll get into him when we look by the play-by-play of this game here, but he was fantastic. Messi-esque, everyone said it. That first goal, something out of this world, and the chance created with his dribbling was just superb in this game here. It truly was just a glorious spectacle to watch. The neutrals were gifted in this game here. The joy of watching just pure football for both sides. One, yes, more defensively orientated, but looked fantastic on the break. One-touch football in the counter-attack. Great goals from set pieces. And as Thierry Henry has said now multiple times, and I saw him say it on the CBS broadcast last night, set pieces are a part of the game. You can run from it as much as you want, but it is a part of the game. Arsenal dominate with set pieces. Inter Milan dominate with set pieces as well. Even if you do it on a micro level, Crystal Palace dominate with set pieces of the Premier League, and you see the result. It often brings great outputs and great moments in games which Inter Milan pounce on. But let's cut that talking for a little bit and just go into the play-by-play of this game here. And you wouldn't have to wait long for the opening goal in this game here. Inter Milan get the ball back and produce an attacking movement, which will Denzel Dumfries down in the right-hand channel. Great to see him back in the side. His initial cross blocked and cleared away partially. It returns back to Denzel Dumfries. He puts another second ball into the area. This time it is Thuram, the other man returning to the side, who gets into a dangerous spot. Little backheel and a precise backheel to find the back of the net for Inter to score in the 32nd second of this game here. Fantastic, rapid start, and the ultimate start that Inter Milan would have wanted. Get a goal early on, something to protect, and something to instill some confidence in the side that struggled in front of goal, struggled for chance creation across the last few weeks, and really haven't looked themselves like 2 players returning from injury and contributing from the start of this game. It was a fantastic start for them. Ferran Torres had a great opportunity created by Lamine Yamal in the 12th minute. He skipped past the defender and rolled the ball to the centre forward. However, his shot was blazed wide of the target. Then it would be made 2-0 for Inter Milan. Dumfries firing the side in front of the 21st minute. Took on what you could take as it was a bicycle kick in many regards, as a Serbi headed the ball back into the dangerous area from the corner. Once again, from a set piece, Inter Milan looking dangerous. A Serbi winning the first ball. Dumfries aggressively taking on the second ball. And my God, was it a fantastic finish. A bicycle or scorpion kick finish. An acrobatic type finish that was reminiscent of your Ibrahimovic types, your Rooney types, a proper number 9 in many regards there. But boy, was it superb. As an acrobatic bicycle scissor kick type finish that was out of this world for a fullback returning to fitness. It was a beautiful sight. So Inter lead 2-0 in the 21st minute. And yes, there was a little bit of nerves around the stadium, but there felt like there was a belief that Barcelona would respond, and boy, they would respond almost instantly. Lamine Yamal doing his best Messi impression. I'm sure if you put a Messi down in the back of that jersey, it would look no different. skipping past, wiggling away from 2 defenders, faced by 3 Inter Milan defenders after that, somehow picked his spot, the far corner, in off the post and into the back of the net to make the game 2-1 in the 24th minute, getting Barcelona back in the game and absolutely energising that crowd there in Barcelona. A massive moment, a needed moment for Barcelona, and a sign of what Lamine Yamal would do in this game, which is basically terrorise the backline of Inter Milan. He then had his effort come flying off the crossbar in the 26th minute. He sat down DeMarco, looked to try and roof the ball into the top of the net. I think in the end, Jan Sommer gets an important touch on it, but it comes flying back off the crossbar, denying him. Dani Olmo had a few chances around the half-hour mark. The most important one being a massive save that Sommer made in the 35th minute as Lamine Yamal once again got on the ball, set the ball up to the midfielder on the edge of the area. Dani Olmo struck it well, but Jan Sommer down so well to his left-hand side to keep the game at 2-1. However, the game was equalised 2-2 in the 38th minute. Pedri's chipped pass towards the back post where Rafinha headed the ball back into a dangerous area. It was Ferran Torres making the late run to the 6-yard box to score that goal nicely past Sommer. Had to just get the ball on target. He'd find the back of the net with the freedom he had in the box to pick his spot, and he did so. So 2-2 would be the story heading into half-time. And I guess the story summarising just one stat in altogether, the attempts. 2 attempts on target for Inter Milan for 2 goals. Barcelona had 10 attempts in the opening 45 minutes. They only managed 2 themselves. Into the clinical side, Barcelona growing back into the game, but making the sluggish start. Coming to the second half, it was Inter that played probably the better football for me until around the 70th minute mark. DeMarco missed Inter's best probably chance of the game at that point in time. It was Bisek marching forward into the half space, receiving the ball, cutting the ball across the box. It reached the wing back at the back post and he skied his effort, which is unusual for a man of DeMarco's talents. Wasteful at the back post, and you thought, was that Inter Milan wasting a key opportunity with some of their best free-flowing movements? Bastoni and Bisek in that move, getting on the ball and driving the ball forward, and a massive miss for the wing-back. But Denzel Dumfries would make the difference yet again. His second goal in this game coming in the 63rd minute. He rose highest to get above Dani Olmo and head home Hakan Çalhanoğlu's corner kick to give Inter Milan a 3-2 lead in the 63rd minute. And to be honest, a warranted lead. A fantastic start to the second half. Looked fantastic with one-touch football in the break. Barcelona's high line was looking weaker and weaker as the minutes went on. And many teams have tried to beat this high line this season. A lot of offsides have come as a result. But it looked like Inter were searching it and finding it out, playing a little bit quickly to catch them off guard, and using the midfielders like Barella, Mkhitaryan and Hakan Çalhanoğlu to get on the ball as much as often and to play the ball quickly to bypass what Barca was trying to do, which is set that high up and set it up quite quickly. But Inter were just too quick for them. However, it would be an equaliser after that point in time. Rafinha's effort, again, another set piece. This time, the short corner played past Lamine Yamal, who dummied the ball, allowing Rafinha to pick his spot from the edge of the area. Absolute rocket of a shot coming off the crossbar, then in off the back of Sommer's head. An own goal, unfortunately, for the Inter Milan keeper, but 3-3 to that point in time. A massive last-ditch block by Pau Kubasi in the 71st minute, denied Thuram his second goal later in that game there. And then the big chance came towards the end of this game. The 75th minute, Henrik Mkhitaryan was found at the back post after a fantastic ball from Denzel Dumfries from the right-hand channel. He scored to what he thought make the game 4-3, deemed offside, and eventually would be proved offside by the tiniest of margins. But Barcelona's high line worked there in that situation, but it looked so easy the way Inter Milan were able to piece them apart, get through the lines in transition, and then get a real scoring opportunity. Similar to the first half, however, they were backs against the wall for the last 10 to 12 minutes. Lamine Yamal's cross to Rafinha almost landed in the back of the net, with his cross becoming a shot in the end. That effort looping onto the crossbar, and luckily for Inter Milan, bouncing nowhere dangerous. And then that's how the game would end. 3-3. Three fabulous goals in their own right. Lamine Yamal is the pick of the goals, but Inter Milan once again clinical from set pieces. Denzel Dumfries so important in this game here, and once again showing the importance of Thuram, Dumfries, and a fit DeMarco in this Inter Milan side. The three of them have been in and out across the last 2 months with suspension, injuries, not being available, and you've seen the reduction in the performance from Inter Milan, far from their best, but they're all playing this game here. They're all heavily involved, and as such, Inter Milan probably put up their performance of the season. Dumfries, obviously the man of the match, 2 goals and an assist, 9 match rating, winning 9 out of 12 duels on the pitch. He was basically everywhere in that first half, and especially towards the start of the second half as well. Lamine Yamal was the standout for Barcelona, the 8.4 match rating, got the goal, 75% pass accuracy, 6 successful dribbles in this game here, winning 8 ground duels, was everywhere. And he gave off that Messi feel. Everyone sort of said it, but it feels true. You look at that opening goal, the way he skips past and wriggles past defenders, fends off the challengers, and then picks his spot off that left foot there. We said it in the podcast that came out this week. There's some players, Elise and Lamine Yamal in particular, that you know they're going onto their left foot, but you just purely can't stop them. The trickery, the change of speed, the agility, the ability to drop the shoulder, and sometimes they'll use the other foot, but more often than not, get on that left foot, open up the body and killing that ball into the far corner. And that first goal was just a superb piece of individual skill. And I've talked to high amounts and high depth about this player. His assist numbers, I think they compared Messi and Lamine Yamal after their first 100 games. Both have the exact same goal contributions, but where they differ is Lamine Yamal has a far greater amount of assists, and I think that is very, very underrated in a young player like himself, to set other players up, to have the vision and the smarts and the composure in the final third, to find the extra pass, to find the open man. It is unheralded in young players, 17 going in 18. So cool, calm and composed, picks up a knock in the warm-up as well, didn't look 100%, but comes into the pitch, and it felt like Messi because they were just force-feeding him the ball in the first half. It was for Barcelona to get past halfway and then look for Lamine Yamal, and then it was dropping of the shoulders, then it was skipping past defenders. In the second half, a little pirouette in his own half to set up a counter-attack and almost setting up the ultimate ball in behind with the Trivela pass. He had it all, and he says it a lot. He plays with freedom, he plays with happiness, he plays with joy, and it shows. And it just goes to show this player, this talent, it's not seen often. It is in a world of its own in many regards. And you saw it on the greatest stage here, people saying he hasn't scored a goal in a while, where he goes and smashes one into the back of the net against one of the best, if not the best defence in world football right now in Inter Milan, putting his team on his back. In moments that they need him the first half, and they're lacking creativity and lacking that spark, insert Lamine Yamal to make the difference. It was a very experienced, veteran type performance from such a young player. He's playing like a grown man, but he's playing with the freedom of a teenager. And yes, I think the comparisons are fair. There is no one right now in world football that can do it as effortlessly, as easily, and as composed as Lamine Yamal does it right now. Messi had that thing where you could just give him the ball and he'd progress the ball for you, or he'd find a goal or an assist out of nothing. You know, Ronaldo was the more brute force, power, physicality, and I guess goal sense. Whereas Lamine Yamal's got that full package: the dribbling, the composure, the ball control, the vision, the IQ, and the ability to play at his own pace. And that just, all those characteristics there mimics Messi, and that's why people are saying it. You don't want to put pressure on the young kid. You hope everything goes well for him, but he is the best player in world football right now. It just currently feels like. Might not win the Ballon d'Or, but as of today, he's the best player in world football. Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, Dembele will be up there competing for that Ballon d'Or, but if we're looking at it here, May the 1st, well, he is the best player in world football. The way he goes about it, the way he carries himself, the way he's unfazed by challenges and intensity, second to none. That's why he just dominated this game here for me. Pedri, another player in for the Ballon d'Or, had another great game himself. 8 match rating, 95% pass accuracy, 2 key passes, 9 out of 9 accurate long balls, 6 out of 8 ground duels won, 2 interceptions, 2 tackles, did a lot. Looked very, very fatigued, sort of come the hour mark, and you saw he sort of faded out of the game later on, got that substitution, get the fresh legs on the pitch, but it goes to show how important it is to this Barcelona side, covering every blade of grass, making an impact every touch he gets on the football, whether it be defensively, whether it be going forward. He was everywhere, had his fingerprints all over this game. And once again, as much as we can talk about Rafinha, Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, Ferran Torres, and the names can go on, it feels like Pedri is the heartbeat. He is the leader of this side here. He gets things done for this Barcelona side, can do the grunt work, can do the good, highlights type work where you can shine in the final third, but he just does a bit of everything. He gets his team ticking over and he allows the freedom for those attackers to go and do what they do best because of how he sets them up in the final third. It was another fantastic near man of the match performance from Pedri. And then big shout outs to these two players here for me who battled all night long. Henrik Mkhitaryan had the awful job of having to double up onto Lamine Yamal and cover off to limit the danger Dani Olmo and Pedri had in this game here. 83% pass accuracy, 37 ground duels won, 4 clearances, 1 block, 1 interception, 2 tackles. He was everywhere midfield. Mkhitaryan truly doing the, I guess, unspoken job in there, being that enforcer. And again, this is Henrik Mkhitaryan, who was a number 10 or a right-sided midfielder a few years ago. The transformation in midfield, I've said it a lot of times here on the channel, is I guess unheralded. You don't often see players sort of go into this mould here and become such a consistent number 8 that can play as a second in a 6 and as a double pivot. He allowed Barella to press high up the pitch. It was, all honesty, the more aging midfield combination of Calhanoglu and Mkhitaryan as the more deeper lying players, and Barella with the younger legs was chasing, pressing hard up the pitch and making things happen. But all in all, I love that midfield trio. I touch about them almost every week, but they had a fantastic role played in this game here. Inter were penned in, but every time they got out, it was because of one of those midfield players playing the one-touch ball around the corner to find Taremi, to find Marcus Thuram, or to set up Denzel Dumfries. They played through the Barca press well. They got into progressing forward and getting at that high line as quickly as possible, and that's why Barcelona couldn't really settle at any point in the second half. I think the first half they were outplayed. I'll give Barcelona that, but come the second half, every chance that the Inter Milan midfield got the opportunity to progress the ball forward, they did. They played through the press, they looked calm in possession, they got the job done, and all in all, a really complete performance in that midfield, and I think led by Henrik Mkhitaryan in that game there. And then Besek. What a performance from the man who is also slowly coming back from injury as well. 8 clearances, 1 block, 1 interception, 6 out of 7 ground duels won, 2 out of 2 successful dribbles. He inserts attacking threat in this game as well, with that, I guess, build-up play constantly involved. I think it was important to the first goal and to the driving that ball forward as well. You see him on the edge of the area. You see him putting crosses into the box, challenging for headers in the box. He is the ultimate fullback for this Inter Milan side. You've got him, you've got Bastoni, you've got fluidity in terms of centre-halves that can commit forward, and then you've got your Serbi who holds in as the deep centre-back that plays a pure centre-back role. But his ball playing, his goal sense, his threat in and around the box, second to none. It honestly is. And we talk about how important Bastoni is for chance creation here in the channel, but Bisek does that as well. He is a really, really dangerous player, especially from set pieces, being that header for the first ball, the second ball to find the back of the net, and then also driving the team forward, gets in the half spaces, and can support his wing back on that side there, and can also support the midfielders because he gives an option for those midfielders to play balls over the top and in behind, and he's a constant valuable runner in behind because of his physicality, because of his speed. He can actually do that job there very, very well. So he played a fantastic game for me. The story of the game is summed up in these numbers here. 72% possession for Barcelona with the one big chance created, the 1.36 XG versus Inter Milan, 28% possession, the 0.9 XG, but 2 big chances created. And it goes to show you can play football in many different ways. Guardiola possession, all on the ball, peppering away, keeping teams penned in, where you got in this game here, I guess the Jose Mourinho type style here with Simeone Inzaghi, going across to this away stadium in Barcelona and saying, we're going to defend, we're going to make sure our back five is solid, and anything we get going forward is a bonus. And in a game like this here, you see it, Barcelona made one big chance. They did their job defensively. Yes, they could see 3 goals, but all in all, they defended so well, and they can be proud of their efforts here away from home. It took a moment of magic from Lamine Yamal, something ridiculous from Rafinha, and the second goal, well, that's just great build-up and great team football there as well. They really didn't do much wrong. To be honest, neither did Barcelona. The goals from Inter Milan are out of this world as well. It's just like 2 teams at their peak of their powers, and I've often said it this season, I'm a big Inter Milan supporter. I'm back what Inzaghi's done, this team does. I think they're undervalued, underappreciated, and for me, this looked like the best team in the world taking on the second best, 1A versus 1B. Barcelona, I guess, can be heralded as the best team in world football this season, but Inter Milan aren't far off. And it'd be an absolute robbery if they ended this season without a trophy. Out of the Coppa Italia, 3 points back at Napoli in Serie A. It is now down to the champions here to go win a trophy. And if you can get past Barcelona, I think you can beat whoever comes through on the other side, because this looks like the stronger side of the draw. This is not riding off PSG. There's 1C or 1B or the third option up there at the top. But for me, I've always backed Inter Milan in. They're a more veteran, experienced side. They've got leaders in the park. But it's performances like this, when Inzaghi takes his side across here to Barcelona to come and defend off the back of some really tough results and poor form. They go there and put together some of their best performances and their best passages of play from the season. That's what you get from this Inter Milan side. Consistent effort, consistent intensity, and all in all, consistent skill. They often perform, and it's more often than not, they get back on track very, very quickly. And this was a side of a champion team. Their way they approach this game, bodies on the line, Barella pressing high up the pitch, willing his team to keep pressing. You've got Bisek driving the ball forward as well, Bastoni at centre-half, Acerbi with massive clearances from the back, Mkhitaryan and Çalhanoğlu sitting in D, being those real disruptors, those physical players, playing in a nice way, dirty at times, making it ugly in midfield, not allowing Olmo and Pedri and Gavi and Firmino to do what they wanted because they were going to put their body in the line. It was a commitment to defend as an 11 and then go and attack as 11. Boy, was their counter-attacking football out of this world. And you expect in the second leg a little bit more possession at the San Siro. But I think they can go with the exact same mentality into that second leg. You've got the benefit of being the home team, the belief you can go and score 3 past this Barcelona side. But you'll think at home, with the way you defended in this game, you could possibly keep Barcelona to a clean sheet despite all their quality and all their ability, because the way they defended that game there was just out of this world. You looked at some of the other key stats in this game here. Inter winning 78% of the aerial duels. They're a more physical side. They're a more aerial side. Expect an aerial bombardment, I think, in the second leg. More crosses into the box, more danger from wide spaces to try and beat this Barcelona high line there. You see it, 46 accurate crosses for Inter Milan. They only took on 6 crosses, but 4 of them found the target, and 2 of them were involved. 3 of them were involved in them finding the back of the net. Inter making 41 clearances in this game here. And then I guess the real difference, Barcelona made 295 passes into the final third versus the 56 for Inter Milan whilst we're in the final third. So it was dominated in the Barcelona half. It was dominated in the Inter Milan half and in the Barcelona box for most of this game. But whenever Inter had the opportunity to get in to the Barcelona half, well, they caused problems, they caused danger, and they found the back of the net. As I said, it was the perfect yin and yang, fire versus water. It was attack versus defense. But that's why we love this game of football. There's so many different ways to go about it, and we're seeing 2 managers go up and play their football in different ways and go and be successful. As I said, probably for me the game of the season. That Classic on the weekend for the Copa del Rey went close, but this was pure football, ultra football for me. 2 great examples of how you can go win games of football, how you can go and play fearless, how you can go to try and win a game in your own way. And I think the second leg, as I said, we can expect something very, very similar. Inter Milan might have a little bit more football, a little more courage on their home turf to go and attack. But Barcelona, you know how good they are on the ball. You know Dani Olmo alongside De Jong and Pedri would look to dominate that midfield area. Look at Mkhitaryan and Çalhanoğlu to sit on the edge of their own area and defend deep. Acerbi, Bastoni, Bisek, protecting their goal with everything they got. Jan Sommer and Chesney in goal, making big saves. There's players and there's winners all over the park. So each team will go about it their own way. But in the end, I think it's about who can execute in the big moments. Who can make those last-ditch blocks like Pau Kubasi made in this game here, or who can finish their half chances like Thuram did in this game here as well. It's about execution. 2 teams at the peak of their powers, 2 teams with the belief now for this opening leg. Second leg comes around, it's about execution. Can you score that half chance? Can you make that game-saving block or that penalty save? There's not much to separate these 2 sides. Yes, on paper, Barcelona look like the far better side, but when they match up, we saw it last night, I was even educated, to be honest. As someone who watched a lot of Inter, I was still educated on how they can go up and match up against the side and make it a real scrap. Coming to second leg, I think Inter go in believing because they've scored 3 and they go into home. But again, you cannot rule this Barcelona side out. The bookies will have them as their favourites. I guess most pundits will have them as favourites, but I'm not ruling Inter Milan out. I probably had them going in the ascendancy here into the second leg. They've done their job away from home. They did it very, very well. They'll have the belief, they'll have the confidence to take that here into this second leg and go all at it and try and beat this Barcelona side in what would be a historic and heroic type 2-legged tie victory. This side This club deserves it. They deserve to be back in a Champions League final. They deserve a Champions League trophy. This team is fantastic. It deserves more plaudits, and it will get it if it can beat this what almost seems invincible, inevitable Barcelona side. But do not rule Inter Milan out. They will keep fighting. They'll make this a scrap for as long as they possibly can. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys. What were your thoughts in this game here? For me, the game of the season. Who was your player of the matches? Who do you think goes in to the second leg in the advantage? Who do you think is happier with the first leg result? Let me know that in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, guys, smash a like on it. Subscribe to the Players Zone channel for more videos and podcasts here on their channel. And press that post notification bell so you know we upload here on the Players Zone channel. With that being said, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the midweek Champions League chaos. Insert the Europa League now with Manchester United, Bodo Glimt, Tottenham and Athletic Club. There's more excitement to come on a crazy Thursday night. With that being said, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the weekend's football action as well. And I'll see you guys in the video or podcast very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.